Hello there, welcome back to another video on ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm doing a tutorial about this treehouse in the redwoods on the island, but of course feel free to build it wherever you can find a tree to place a platform in. I think it's quite an interesting build because there's a lot of little rooms that you can use. Definitely good for like a bigger tribe so that everyone can have their own space, as well as some of the crafting spaces down below. So we'll start out by lining up the first foundation. Now you want to get as close to the tree as possible, of course, and line it up with the platform itself like so. If you want to get it perfect, you might want to really try hard on this. I think this is probably good enough. And then we want to have three triangle foundations next to it. And then we go back to the normal foundations. And that's basically how we go around this tree and just circle it all the way through. So you just want to make sure that you go all the way through with three triangles and then a normal foundation. Now you can see it doesn't quite line up perfectly. In my case, I'm fine with that, but you might be able to get it just a little bit better, but I think it's good enough. Then to the normal foundation, we want to do three of those triangles again, and then have them go out by three more foundations so that we have this shape. And we're going to do that for everyone. So three triangles, and then we go out with these normal foundations until we are almost at the edge. Three in total, well, six in total, I guess, but three wide, or two wide and three long. So you get these shapes for your first rooms. And you basically want to do that all over, connecting to all the normal foundations until you have something looking like this. Okay, then we can get started on the first building with some walls. We want to have the walls like this. I like to flip them. I like this texture a little bit better. But of course, personal preference if you want to use them the other way around. We want to have a structure like this. And then of course, add in some double doors in that middle one. And then on the end, we want to use these long doors or windows to get some big windows in the front to enjoy your view. And then have some sloped walls on top of that. And then you should have something like this. We can add some stairs to the doors so you can easily access them from the tree platform. Because that's probably where you want to have some of your other stuff, your feeding troughs, maybe your flyers you land there. So you want easy access in and out, and of course add in some doors. I like to use the reinforced doors because I like the look of them a little bit more, but feel free to use wooden doors or whatever. So we should have something like this. Then I try to add in the fences down below. I'm not quite sure if you can do this on official, but I like the look of this because you have a very big window that you can clearly look through. And with the fences, we can add a little bit detail. So we do some in the middle, and then we try to get some at the top as well, just to have a little bit of details there. So two in the middle, like so. And then we have our windows done. We want to have a beam at the bottom, going all the way along the edge of the building that we've just made. Just as some extra details. And then have some pillars on the corners, at least, I would suggest. But if you want, of course, we can... Oh, we almost forgot this one. We can also, of course, add them next to the doors if you want. I would probably do that. But if you don't want to have too many pillars, you can also leave them out, of course. Then you should have something that looks like this. And basically, we're going to repeat this build on all of the other platforms. And then we're going to connect the platforms in between with two normal foundations. So we just go all around filling this in with two normal foundations, because we're basically making the central shape and the central circle a little bit bigger. So you should have something like this. And then we can pick up some more triangles and connect another layer of triangles to the outside. Now you see that we overlap a little bit with the walls that we built. If you want a more bigger open space in the central ring, you could of course always remove those walls later if you prefer that. But for my design, I did it this way. So we add in all of these triangles until we fill in all these spaces, just going around. There's a lot of repeating the same thing in this build, of course, because it's basically a circular build where you have a lot of repetition everywhere. So there we go. We can actually get rid of that because we are all round. And then we want to add in a window in the middle of all of these. So again, we go around placing these windows in because, of course, we want to look outside. If you're living in a tree, there's probably some cool views. At least I really like the views here in the redwood. So we'll just place these windows everywhere, and then we can connect them with 2 normal walls to the side to close this shape off. So fairly easy. And you get these little corners and these little nooks. I kind of like that. It feels very cozy on the inside. I'll show you some of the insides when I'm completely done with the build, of course. But yeah, this should be what you have. So for the next level, we want to place in these walls like this. So we don't continue the shape, but we connect them to the other full foundations that we have. I use doors here. If you want to go for all the smaller rooms, this is what you do. If you don't want these rooms, you can always take out some of these walls later and keep the central circle a little bit bigger. And then we want to have normal walls on top of these doors that we just placed, like so. Make them a little bit higher and then connect them again back to the tree. Now, you'll probably notice that you'll have some gap with the tree, like so. So if you can, I don't know if official will allow it, I'll place an extra wall just to clip in all the way into the tree. And then you want to actually place some more walls, making this shape stick out like one. So this is where we're going to have a little overhang from the previous level. We'll fill it in with ceilings and add 1 extra level, and then add some triangle ceilings as well. So we have a little balcony shape for these buildings on the top. Then we want to have the double door frame again, place them like so. Have some sloped walls on top of that again for the little roof shape. And that's basically the basis of these. Again, we're gonna use some fences first of all to just circle our balcony, but also again in this window, because we're using this one as a window, we want to have these railings as a little bit of detail. The other one you can leave open as more of a door, or you can have the top ones if you prefer that, and then have some beams going all around the platform as well to make it look a little bit sturdy. Same down here, you can also add some beams to have some extra details down there as well. Now you should have something looking like this, and of course you can probably already guess it, now we need to do this on all sides. So this is a little in between where we are building out these shapes. Now again, if you have these walls that have little gaps, you might want to extend them a little bit so they connect up to the tree, because it just makes it look a little bit better in my opinion than having all the gaps there. Unless of course you don't want to have these walls at all, then you can just have the top layer and then remove the bottom 2 or 4 walls, so you have the big circle at the bottom floor as a bigger room instead of all these separate smaller rooms. But that is personal preference, what you like. But yeah, I would connect it like this. And on the top floor we can also take out some of these walls like so, place some doors in them so that we can also connect the top floor rooms. Oh, we don't need that top one actually. Let's make that a normal wall again. There we go. So yeah, by placing the double doors on the top floor, we can actually connect all of these rooms at the top as well. Basically the same effect as we have downstairs, where you can walk around from one room to the other room. Of course, depends on how you're going to use this building. Maybe if you have a big tribe and everyone has their own room on the second floor, then you might not want to add this, so you have a little bit more privacy. But if you're using it as one, you can probably get away with this. So we just place a triangle in between, and we get rid of some of these beams that we placed along the sides of these top of floor houses or shapes that we made. And then you can basically very easily connect the top floor as well. So just go around again and again. A lot of this is just copying what you did for one build to the other one. Same with the connecting, it's just going around in a circle until you are where you started. But yeah, this is an easy way to connect all the top rooms as well. Might be a little bit easier than having to use a ladder all the time. So then in the back, if you see any gaps, you can also do the same trick we did for the walls. Just add an extra floor. And here, of course, we want to also add in a wall so that we don't fall out of our building. And then I would do another triangle ceiling here. So you have a cozy little corridor like this. Okay, it's time to start with the roofs. First, for the first floor, we'll start with 4 normal roof pieces like so on both sides. So just have one sticking out at the front and then 4 in total. For the second layer, we have 2 normal roof pieces in the middle of them. And then we're going to connect them a little bit with these corner pieces. And have like a pointy roof sticking out. I kind of like the look. Looks a little bit elven, I guess. Could be more elven, of course. But and then we have some of these corner pieces at the back as well, because otherwise we'll have overlapping on the inside and some corner pieces there as well. That's basically the roof for one of these bottom part pieces. Of course, you're going to have to repeat that everywhere. We'll do one more together. So we start with 4 normal roof pieces and 2 at the bottom. So 4 normal roof pieces at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then you connect them up again with these corner pieces, making the pointy bit at the front, connecting them up at the back. Now there are some gaps at the back, but nothing too major. So you should have something like this. And then in the middle here, we want to connect more corner pieces and then having them overlap like this. Don't think that will be possible and official, but that was the best way for me to have a roof on this build, unfortunately, because it's quite a interesting design, of course, the way it's all overlapping and on top of each other. So this you want to basically do all around for the first layer. And then for the second layer, we're going to start very similarly with some of these normal roof pieces, 4 of them at the top. Just so that we can start the roof shape. It will probably already overlap a little bit with the tree. Because we're quite close, of course. And we just want to do that for the top layer on all sides. Now then, of course, we're starting to make the shape. For the second layer, we want 1 normal roof piece like so. We have to use a second here because I tried doing something with the corners, but the way these buildings line up with each other, they just don't align. So we'll use the corners like so, like we did at the bottom. But then for this, it doesn't quite line up. So instead, have some normal roof pieces, unfortunately, overlap a little bit, and then some corner pieces at the back. Now, they do overlap, but you don't really see that anyway. So that is the best way that I could come up with. And I think the overall product looks good. So you'll have to be able to have these collisions be possible, of course, in your server settings or your single player settings. But then you can just finish up the shape like so. And that is what you basically have to do again for all the other roofs. Now, if you have these gaps, you want to use a normal roof piece and overlap into the tree so that you don't see the gaps if you don't like them. Here, of course, we're going to use the corner pieces again to just finish off this shape. And then you'll have to repeat the process for all the remaining roofs until you are all the way around again and you'll have a almost finished looking base. Now, for some extra safety, we want to place some of these quarter walls on the corners of the tree platform because we're going to, of course, build some railings. Actually, we don't want it there. We want it straight in front of the bigger open spaces that we have. So let's place some quarter walls here. The reason that we place these quarter walls is just so that we can have the pillars on the right height and then we can remove them afterwards. So once you're done all around, you take out the pillar, you snap it to this quarter wall, and then we go all around again because this is just a very nice height for the pillars, especially combined with the railings instead of sticking out even more. And luckily, we can now remove these quarter walls without any problems. So as soon as you've placed all of the pillars all around, you can get rid of the quarter walls. And then we can get started on the railings and just going around and placing the railings everywhere along so that you're nice and safe and you can walk around on your tree platform without having to worry of falling down somewhere. And then we are very close as to being done. Now, this might appear as a more confusing build, but to be honest, once you get started, basically if you do one thing right, you can just repeat it a couple of times until you're all around and circled back to where you started, which makes for a little bit of an easier build process because you can basically do something and repeat it. So once we're all around, we can add in some ladders as well to reach the top floors. I use the rope ladders because I like the look, and it means that you can get rid of them or roll them up if you're not using them or not needing them once you're up there, which saves a little bit of space. But I also just like the look a little bit more than the normal wooden ones or whatever. So yeah, you just go all around again, and to every balcony you can add some. Now you could also add them not at every balcony, of course. If you, like me, made it possible to walk around at the top floor, you are fine if you only have some of these balconies with the ladders, of course. But just for the complete look, I like it like this. Alright, and then on the inside we need to fix this little bit. So have some sloped walls on these corners. Unfortunately, we don't have any piece in the middle. And we can, of course, place a door in here so that we have a nice looking window here as some detailing, and do that everywhere. Okay, now this is my interior, or a little bit of designing. So I have some crafting stuff and feeding troughs here on the outside. And then on the inside I have a cozy little fireplace, some storage, some more crafting all around it. Now this is of course the very cozy interior with all these little nooks and crannies. Generator in there as well. But of course you can get rid of some of these walls down here to have a bigger inner circle if you prefer that look. But I kind of like this cozy vibe you get, because you can basically create separate rooms and have still plenty of space to store everything. Then we'll go up with the ladder to one of the top floor locations. You have a nice little balcony where you can sit and enjoy your view. You can probably land a flyer up here as well, and maybe instead of a bench have a feeding trough if you want to. Again, we have some cozy little room, we have a bunk bed, and then here we have a separate room for maybe a single person and some extra storage, and you can basically do this all around again. I kind of like these tree houses. I imagine this with a little tribe where everyone has his own room upstairs, and you have the crafting stuff and the storage all down here, whether that's in these little nooks and crannies the way that I designed it right now, or you go for the bigger circle on the inside and have all the crafting needs down there. I think this could work very well for a little tribe that's all living together, and maybe build some other stuff on other tree platforms as well. That was it for this treehouse tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and feel free to leave a comment. If you want to share your build results with me, you can tweet me or X me, I guess, on Twitter or X, or you can join the Discord, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.